about the Sinder situation. It reminds me a lot about the real world. If you guys want to recap, just check out the what happened. I think there are gonna be a lot of content creators covering this, but like essentially, so to summarize everything, right? Sinder was like what, gatekeeping like artists from like commissioning works to like restrict the the number of like models, right? Like the nano babies, right? To restrict the number of models to make it so that she could get like a more competitive advantage with like all of the other VTubers essentially, right? And it's like one of the biggest drama ever because like she has been doing allegedly like she and the manager, they have been doing this like behind the back of like what many thought were very close friends, like Shy, Lily, and Bao. It reminds me a lot of the real world, but maybe not to this degree. Essentially, like when I was in like uni, right? Or even when I was like working like my full-time job or like internship. No, my full-time job was actually fine, but like my internships and everything, and then uni, people would do whatever it takes to gain like the a competitive advantage. And this is especially prevalent in like Singapore, I feel, because Singapore as a society, right, it is built upon the principles of meritocracy. Let me make sure that I'm saying the word right. Meritocracy, I believe. Yep. So my entire country is built on this principle of meritocracy, which is basically the good stuff happen to people with abilities and talents. So as a result, since young, people are like classified into their different calibers. From like your primary school, secondary school, you know, going to a good primary school means you most likely can get into a good secondary school because of your grades. A lot of it is based on your grades, and then having a good grade in secondary school means you do well in O levels. You go to like a good JC or like a good poly to go to the courses, and then from there you go to like a good place. And then if you don't do well, you go to like essentially less desirable positions, right? And then this thing goes on for your uni, especially in uni because at Singapore, at least for like my university, they make use of this thing called the bell curve. They make use of this thing called a bell curve. So even if everybody does badly, there will be some people that do better than others as long as you're ahead of the curve. Which leads to this like culture where even though I'm pretty sure that your friends should like help each other, like if you don't really understand what the prof is saying or like you need help with your homework or anything, you will go ahead and ask them with regards to like, okay, how do you help this, right? But like there are a lot of instances, especially when it comes to like group projects, right? Where especially comes to like group projects, when it comes to your presentations, when it comes to anything that has got to do with like your teammates, right? There are situations where people would pretend that they are contributing or they're doing their work, but in reality they may or may not be either actively not contributing, right, or they are just like trying to sabotage you, because in the bell curve there can only be a limited number of people that can get like A plus or A minus or B plus and so on and so forth, right? So whatever happened to this like VTuber drama, right, it doesn't just reflect on the VTubing space, and I don't think it just reflects on like even the streaming space. It is just like everywhere in the world, or at least from like the world where I was raised up in, right? Where like it is extremely competitive, and there are so many people that are willing to basically just do almost whatever it takes, as long as it doesn't like, I guess, break the law, to get to their academic or career success. And what Sinder did, it's a very mask off moment, but I feel like these kind of things, it happens like all over the place. Yeah, it's like super common, especially in like the real world, in the working space, when like positions are very limited, right? Whether or not there can only be one promotion, right? There can only be like a good performance bonus, right? When your boss give you like a good performance, because not everybody can get like the best performance. So somebody is gonna get it and somebody's not gonna get it. So essentially, especially when your competition are basically like your colleagues, right? Your colleagues, your friends. I feel very strongly that there's no such thing as like friends in the workspace. No such thing, right? People will do whatever it takes to give them that little bit of a head start, which is also kind of why I wanted to, kind of escape the Korba race, the red race, because it's a culture that if you do not join in, you will find yourself in the losing end for almost majority of the cases, right? Whether it becomes like, office politics, corporate bootlicking, or like just literally like sabotaging like your colleagues just so that your boss gives you like a better appraisal, or like in your schools your teacher gives you a better grade than your peers, or peer evaluation, right? There's this thing called peer evaluation where you can literally give your teammates or your group mates like a comment or a feedback. And some people just make use of these kind of systems to just give them like a bad look so that they get a worse grade, so that in return, you could potentially get a better grade. And I feel like this kind of situation, it just happens like everywhere. And while what Sinder did is, she basically got caught, right? She basically got caught, and like all these things came out, and like there's like a shit ton of notes going out, right? A lot of VTubers are coming out, My experience with Sinder is like 20 different documents at this point. It just really reminds me that even outside of like this whole Korba space, right? Like, I quit Korba, I quit my full-time job in Korba, I became like a streamer, and at the end of the day, not a lot of people are gonna be your friends, essentially. You can take a look at the gacha space, for example, right? I really can't say for like an absolute fact that people will have my back when shit goes down. Because when something is there to farm, people are gonna farm it, right? When shit hits the fan, it's essentially every man for themselves, And after this whole thing happened like last night, it reminded me of like how much more important it is for me to appreciate the friendships and connections that I will have in real life. Because no matter what happens at the streaming world, right? Like I'm streaming to you guys now as like a streamer, right? You don't know me, I don't know you, I don't even know what you guys look like. If one day I just suddenly decided, okay guys, I'm gonna stop streaming for 6 months, you'll probably never see me ever again, right? So like this kind of stuff online, it's so superficial, and so like it can just be gone like that, right? And it really made me appreciate that, I have a very, very select group of friends that I'm close with in real life. So for example, the friends that I went to Japan with, right, my uni friends, I have a group of my secondary school friends. So secondary school, I think it's a high school, or I don't really know what is it called in America. Very, very select group of people, right? My face, right? My face, she. So like these kind of people, I know at the end of the day, no matter what happens in this kind of stuff, whether be I escape the corporate race, whether I'm still doing content creation, these kind of instances will always happen, right? And chat, right? Chat. I'm not sure if you guys will have my back. I would like to hope that my chat would when things happen, y'all will still be here, right? Even though you guys are babies, complain all the time, But at the end of the day, it's a little bit hard to really differentiate like what is grounded into my reality compared into what is essentially online interactions. Which is why the whole parasocial thing and everything, I think, is very real. I've met some of you guys before. I've met some of my chats before. I've met some of my orders before. We even had a meal together. It's great. And some of you guys even send me gifts. And some of you guys send me like things, right? Things, by the way, things, right? E2, I know what you sent me, by the way. The fucking facial body pillow shit. That's crazy. Yeah, but like, at the end of the day, it's very, very hard to basically know that when shit hits the fan, who is gonna be there, And I don't want to make this whole experience about myself, obviously, but I just thought that this entire thing that happened with this VTubing thing, this VTubing drama, I don't think it's very rare. I don't think people should be very shocked that, oh my god, this VTubing space is actually, there are so much like backstabbing instances, it's just business, right? Everything is just korba. I don't think people should be surprised. It's more so like, yep, this one singular instance got exposed, but I am cocksure, bro. I'm fucking cocksure. There are like way, way, way more instances of these kind of things happening. And I feel like content creation as a whole, or any career or like academic things in real life, it's very, very common. And you shouldn't be surprised that these kind of things happen to you. And be like, I guess, a little bit more aware, a little bit more informed, that wherever you go in life, it doesn't matter that just because this only happens to VTubing space. No such thing, right? Doesn't matter where you are in life. I feel that it's gonna happen, and yeah, just be like more aware, right? And appreciate the friends and the connections that you have made along your way, and don't just throw them away for like some temporary pursuit for like your academics or career. Like, you don't fuck your friends over just to like get a better grade, or fuck your friends over just so that you can get like a career advancement, right? So, yep. Hashtag educational stream. That's my 2 cents. See you guys in the clip channel. Right, that's pretty much it.